Welcome to AFL Access. My name is Joel, and today I'll be continuing the 2019 season reviews for all 18 clubs, back in the home comfort of Adelaide, South Australia. You know what? There's nothing like being back at home. It's nice and comforting. You're surrounded by your loved ones, all your nice stuff, especially your room, which if you haven't lived in for a couple of weeks, it's just, something nice and nice homely feeling. It's great. And just come back and it's all nice and tidy and all that good stuff. Anywho, that's all we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about one of the most polarizing and strange seasons in probably the recent history of this very, very successful club, and that is the Hawthorn Hawks. Alright, so before we get into this very strange season for the Hawks, we'll just get the basic stats out of the way. So at the end of the season, the Hawks finished with an 11-11 record and a percentage of 108%, sitting in 9th position outside of the top 8. It's a drastic decline from their 2018 season where it looked like, oh no, the Hawks have returned to form again after a one-year rebuild, which is always great. But, so yeah, where did it all, I guess, kind of go wrong? A lot of pundits, I'm pretty sure, wrote off the Hawks season when Tom Mitchell, the reigning Brownlow medalist, went down with a broken leg in the preseason, keeping him out for the entire year. I was probably one of those people and thought they would tank. Not intentionally, but they would definitely be around the bottom dwellers for the season. Probably to no one's surprise, and honestly, I shouldn't have been shocked when in week 1 they came out and spanked the Crows. It was legitimately embarrassing to watch. They spanked the Crows to the tune of 32 points. And now you might be thinking, that's a win. That's a good win, but it wasn't a spanking. No, it was total domination. Anywho, to make up for the lack of Tom Mitchell, they needed a lot of key performers to step up. So guys like Jaeger O'Meara, Ricky Henderson, Tom Scully, Isaac Smith, and even though he is the ageless wonder, Sean Burgoyne really needed to step up and more or less bear the load of missing such an elite player like Tom Mitchell. And they did that for the most part. In fact, after the first week, I was like, well, these guys are legit again. Then came week 2, where they played the Bulldogs, and they were pretty comfortably ahead of them for the entire game until the last quarter, where they gave up 9 goals and went down by 3 points in one of the more disappointing losses for the Hawks this year. And then, kind of similar to Port, who also finished 11-11, it was up and down like a yo-yo, trading wins and losses week in and week out, and also going on some noticeable slides, where they managed to lose 3 games in a row and look pretty dire at 8-11, heading into the final couple weeks. But to completely count out an Alistair Clarkson-led squad is a fool's gamut. In the final 3 weeks, they totally shut out the Giants on their own home turf. Next week, they followed up by smashing the hapless Suns in Jared Ruffhead's final game played. And then, when it looked slim chance that they could have snuck into the finals, they went out and absolutely bitch-slapped the Eagles on their own home turf, effectively killing the Eagles' chance to go back-to-back. Fortunately for 17 other clubs, the Crows did something good by losing to the Bulldogs in the final round, effectively killing the chance for Hawthorn to make another final series. So yeah, Even all the doom and gloom of losing their Brownlow medal winning midfielder before the years started, all things considered, turned out pretty good for the Hawks. They got some really good performances from players like James Sicily, who's looking like an even better defensive asset than he does up forward. Even though he is an agitating little turd, he still is a great player. James Warple, who has come out of the woodworks to look like a legit half-forward option to help out, enter into the forward 50 and get Gunston and Bruce the ball more consistently. And as much as I hate to say it, Chad Wingard looked pretty good in the games he did play, even though he didn't contribute as much forward options as he used to in Port Adelaide. And potentially a new target up forward in Mitchell Lewis to replace Jared Roughhead, who again has retired as of season's end. Speaking of Bruce and Gunston, they contributed 36 goals and 24 goals each. While that is a dip in their overall production, especially in light of recent years, they still look to be the best option going forward for the Hawks until they can find someone else who can take over that spot. The aforementioned James Warple, he contributed with 26 disposals on average, the highest, leading the team in the highest amount of disposals per game. So he looks to be another potentially devastating option when Tom Mitchell is healthy. Even with the Mitchell injury pretty much overshadowing the season, some of the younger players that the Hawks had started playing this year are looking actually pretty good. Again, I wouldn't expect anything less from Alistair Clarkson's, who can turn pretty much any player into gold if he wanted to. Sure, they didn't get as much production out of, say, a player like Jack Scrimshaw, who only played maybe 10 to 13 games this year, but, he's got time. He's still pretty young. They have started to get a lot more out of their younger prospects. They probably need to add a couple more this year through the draft, but we shall see what their plan is going forward. One thing they're going to have to address in the off-season is who should replace Jared Roughhead in the side, who has retired after 283 games and 578 goals kicked. Now, Mitchell Lewis has looked pretty good, but they also probably need an even taller, bigger option. So that's why there is a lot of rumors going around that they're going to go after John Patton from the Giants, who is coming off of, I'm pretty sure, an ACL injury, like his third in his career. Now, next year, with Tom Mitchell being healthy, and even then, the Hawks still have the Bill Belichick of the AFL in Alistair Clarkson, I'm still pretty certain that they should be better next year. How much better? I don't know. I would probably wager a top 8 spot at the least. But then again, who knows? Maybe, and just maybe, they might fall down the ladder and have to go into a rebuilding stage, because their list still contains some pretty old aging elements that they might need to look at turning over in the near future. So if I were to give the Hawks a grade, I would probably give them a 5 out of 10, because for as low as some of their lows were, they came out and played as good as they did in their three-peat. And even for their stellar performances, there were a lot of games where they looked exposed, especially without having Tom Mitchell in the side. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to click the like button and comment below on my thoughts. I'd love to hear comments. Just lets me know how I'm going as a reviewer. If you want to see more videos, we're getting into the final sides very soon, so you'll be able to see what we thought of the teams that end up making the big dance very soon. So click that subscribe button, ring the bell to stay notified of all news content. If you want to discuss football with the guys on the channel, please join our Discord, link in the description below. And yeah, this has been your AFL Access.